When the Nintendo Entertainment System was launched in North America in the mid-80s, they released it with a lineup of about 30 games, often colloquially referred to as the Black Box series. The Black Box series is mostly comprised of arcade ports, sports titles, and score attack-based games. For those of you who know me, y'all know that I'm kind of an old head. I love NES games, Sega Master System games, arcade games, score attack games, basically anything from the 8 and 16-bit era. And there's something about the early black box titles on the NES that are super charming to me, and I feel like most of these games are still worth playing today. In today's video, I'm going to rank all black box titles in the form of a comprehensive tier list. People still like tier list videos, right? Right? Anyway, let's hop into this. Shoutouts to whoever on tiermaker.com made this tier list. The games are enumerated alphabetically, so we're just gonna go from left to right. Starting off with 10-Yard Fight. This was originally an arcade game before being ported to the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was developed by Irem, and it is one of 3 games here in the Black Box series that was not developed by Nintendo. Now, I'm no stranger to sports games like NBA Jam, Ken Griffey Jr. Presents Major League Baseball, NFL Blitz. I love sports games, but 10-Yard Fight is not good. I'm putting this bad boy in the F tier. It feels clunky, the frame rate is bad, it's not a good football game. Even for NES football games, you can do way better, like Tecmo Super Bowl. Shout out to Bo Jackson. Yeah, 10-Yard Fight is no good. Starting this off, it's going straight in the F tier. Next up, we have Balloon Fight. Balloon Fight is a certified banger. It's essentially Joust, if you've ever played Joust for the Atari or in the arcade, but with balloons, and it's a lot of fun, especially if you have a second player. It can get really, really chaotic. Even if you're playing by yourself, it's still a lot of fun. Sometimes I'll just boot up Balloon Fight, and if I need to like kill 30 minutes, play a little bit of Balloon Fight. It's going straight in the A tier. One of the best games on the NES, and I wish Nintendo would bring this little series back. Next up, we have Baseball. Now, Baseball is way better than 10-Yard Fight here, but you can do better on NES, like Bases Loaded or RBI Baseball. It's not a bad game, though. It's a very simple, very straightforward game of baseball. Obviously, there are no MLB teams. There's no players. You're not going to be playing as Derek Jeter, but still, it's a competent baseball game. We'll put it in C. Clue Land is interesting. It's kind of like an inverse of Pac-Man, sort of. I don't quite know how to describe this game. The mechanics are really confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it can be a lot of fun. Still, it's not the greatest game on the NES. I would put it probably above Baseball, but no higher than that in the C tier. Donkey Kong 3 is kind of an anomaly for the Donkey Kong series. It's more or less a shoot-'em-up. It's like a cross between a shoot-'em-up and a platformer. It doesn't even have Mario in it. It has, what's his name? Stanley the Bugman. And you basically just have to shoot Donkey Kong in the nuts with pesticides. It's a fun game. The controls are a little stiff. And honestly, it mainly just... I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, but it's the good kind of weird. Definitely my least favorite of the 3 Donkey Kong games, but we're gonna put it above Clue Land. Actually, I'll put this in the B tier. Donkey Kong Jr. Math. I mean, what is there to say about this one? As a video game, it's an F tier game, but as an educational tool, I don't know, if I were a kid in the 80s, maybe I would learn my multiplication tables from this. Maybe it would teach me some basic arithmetic, but even then, I don't know exactly if this is the greatest method for teaching your children mathematics. So Donkey Kong Jr. Math is gonna go in the F tier, but it does have a cool pink recolor of DK Jr., so for that, it's going above 10-Yard Fight. Donkey Kong Jr., now we're cooking. Now we are cooking. I did a whole review of Donkey Kong Jr. a couple of weeks ago where I talked about the game and several of its ports. Donkey Kong Jr. is my favorite arcade game ever made. I love everything about it. I love the graphics. I love DK Jr. as a character. I wish they would bring him back. I love the mechanics of climbing the vines, and you could climb them horizontally and vertically, and depending on how you grab the vines, you can go faster, like if you're going up or down or left and right. It's a really fun platformer, and one day I want to try to make it to like the kill screen I don't know how many loops you have to go through to get to there, but the furthest I've made it is loop 7 on Donkey Kong Jr. So this is safely going in the A tier, right above Balloon Fight. I have a personal bias with Donkey Kong Jr. I love this game. It's my favorite arcade game. Donkey Kong, the original arcade classic, the game that launched Nintendo. Essentially, they had, you know, Radar Scope before it and some clones of like Pac-Man and Pong back in the day, but Donkey Kong was their first big hit, and the NES/Famicom home port of Donkey Kong is very good. It doesn't have all of the flourishes of the arcade game, but it does feature 3 of the 4 levels. It's missing the Pie Factory level, which that level unfortunately is missing from most home ports of Donkey Kong. But this is a very good conversion, not as good as the arcade original. I'm gonna put it in B tier above Donkey Kong 3. Duck Hunt, the classic light gun game. A lot of people back in the 80s and 90s, to my understanding, had the bundle of Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. The thing about Duck Hunt is, I've never played a light gun game on an actual CRT. I've never played Duck Hunt on the original NES hardware on a CRT. I've heard it's very fun. I have played, you know, the sort of Duck Hunt type game that was on Wii Play, and I feel like that's just like a facsimile of the Duck Hunt experience. I can't give this my own rating, but people love Duck Hunt. It's a classic. So I'm going to put this in B. Excite Bike. This is another banger. This is another great game. I mostly played this on the 3DS. There was a remaster of Excite Bike in 3D, and this is just a really fun racing game. There was actually a remake of this game on the Satellaview, which was a Japanese exclusive add-on for the Super Famicom that let you download video games through satellite, and it was basically a 16-bit remake of Excite Bike, but with the Mario gang. This game's safely going in the A tier, right below Balloon Fight. It's a really fun dirt biking game, and I find myself revisiting this game, much like with Balloon Fight or DK Jr. Most of these games up here in A and B, I find myself revisiting it if I want to kill like a half hour. It's a very fun game. Golf. Here's the thing about golf. As a sport, I am completely indifferent to golf in real life. I think it's a sport for old, rich white people, and the only golf players I can name are like Arnold Palmer and Tiger Woods. But video game golf is a lot of fun. Mario Golf is a classic. Hot Shots Golf is a classic. I love virtual video game golf. And NES Golf is really good, actually. There is definitely a learning curve to NES Golf, but once you get the hang of it, I think this is the best sports game, on the NES. So I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B. Gumshoe is another light gun game, but I've heard it's not nearly as good as Duck Hunt. It's like a weird pseudo platformer where you have to shoot this detective guy to make him jump. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard it's not very good, so we'll put it in the D tier. Again, I've not played it myself, so I can't really rank it fairly. But yeah, I guess the title of this video is a little insincere because the light gun games and the Rob the Robot games I have not played. But what are you gonna do? Gyromite. Where's Stack Up? Alongside Stack Up, these are the 2 Rob the Robot games. And here's the thing about Rob the Robot. As an accessory for the NES, it wasn't great, and these games are not great. Rob the Robot was a Trojan horse to get the NES in North America because the video game Crash of '83 was still in full effect. Video games were kind of a dead medium for a while, and Nintendo didn't want to sell the NES as a video game console. That's why it was called the Nintendo Entertainment System. A little bit of history for you. They probably knew these games weren't great, but Rob the Robot was the Trojan horse that Nintendo needed to get these games in North American homes, to get the NES in North American homes. So it's a cool little piece of history. I like Rob the Robot, but these games, they're going in F. Again, I've not played them personally, but I've heard they're not very good. Rob is cool. I like playing as him in Smash Brothers, but his games aren't very good. While we're at it, just to get the final games I haven't played off of, get these games ranked, Hogan's Alley and Wild Gunman, 2 more light gun games. The rest of these games I've played. But yeah, these are NES Zapper games, and much like Duck Hunt, I hear they're pretty good. Not as good as Duck Hunt. I think Duck Hunt is generally regarded as the best NES Zapper game. Whenever I think of Wild Gunman, I think of the scene in Back to the Future 2 where he's playing it on the Play Choice 10 arcade model, and the kid is like, "You gotta use your hands, that's like a baby's toy." They're both good light gun games, not as good as Duck Hunt. I'll probably put them in C. Like right down here. Ice Climber. You would think that this would be a classic. You would think that this would be up there with the other NES classics. But unfortunately, it's not great. I want to like Ice Climber so badly, but it kind of fails as a platformer. The controls aren't great. And it kind of fails as a score attack game because it's not really satisfying to get your score up. You just gotta get to the end of the level, and you get a little bit of score for like breaking the bricks and beating enemies and like getting the vegetables, but it's not a very satisfying gameplay loop. I love Smash Brothers. I love the Ice Climbers in Smash Brothers, and the soundtrack is pretty damn good. The soundtrack was done by Akito Nakatsuka, who also did the soundtrack for Zelda 2. Probably the best thing about this game. I'm gonna put Ice Climber in D. It's one of the weaker black box titles. I really want to like this game, but it's just not that fun. Kung Fu. This is the second of the 3 black box games that was not developed in-house by Nintendo. I actually really like Kung Fu. It is a very simple side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's very short. You can beat the game in like 15 minutes. It's only a couple of levels. You can punch, you can kick, you can jump kick, you can do a low sweep. This game was also originally released in arcades. I believe it was called something totally different, like Spartan X or something like that. Fun fact, here's a little bit of a little bit more history for you. This game was directed by Takashi Nishiyama, who would go on to leave Irem, the developers of this game, and go on to work for Capcom, and he directed the first Street Fighter. So in a way, Kung Fu is kind of the predecessor to Street Fighter. It was directed by the same guy. I really like Kung Fu. I don't think it quite goes into the A tier, but top of B tier for sure. I've revisited this game many times. I've beaten it many times. It's a surprisingly challenging game for the NES, but very good, and I still think it's worth going back to today. Mach Rider, aka Mad Max, but with motorcycles. Kind of reminds me of the Road Rash series, if you've ever played those games. Mach Rider is great. It's a very fast-paced racing game where you go through levels on a motorcycle, dodging obstacles and other racers. It's got a post-apocalyptic vibe to it, and the protagonist Mach Rider, I think, was one of the first leading ladies in video gaming. Definitely a great game. I'm gonna put this in B, below Donkey Kong and Kung Fu, but above Golf, Donkey Kong 3, and Duck Hunt. Yeah, I think that's a good place to put Mach Rider. Mario Brothers. Much like with Donkey Kong Jr. up here, I did a whole entire video review of Mario Brothers. You can check that out on the channel. This is another one of my favorite arcade games ever made. Once you get past the stiff controls, which I think actually adds to the challenge and the game feel of Mario Brothers, once you get past that, it's a very fun arcade game. Again, like with Balloon Fight, if you got 2 people, it can get really chaotic, and it's super fun. If you want to know my full thoughts on Mario Brothers, check the review that I did a couple months back. Mario Brothers, I think, is going to be our first S tier. I love this game. I love this game so much. I might even like it more than Donkey Kong Jr. I said DK Jr. was my favorite arcade game, but it's like really, really close between these 2 games. I think I might like Mario Brothers a little bit. No, what am I saying? No. What am I saying? It's right below DK Jr. What am I saying? I don't like Mario Brothers more than Donkey Kong Jr. Come on. Great game, amazing game, but yeah, they're very close at my heart. Pinball, I am not a fan of pinball, either like whether it's real pinball or virtual pinball. It's not my bag. And this game, it's okay. It's fine. It's pinball. It's pinball. B. I'll put it at the bottom. No, I'll put it as C. I just don't like pinball that much. Sorry. Popeye. Now, it's pretty common knowledge that Donkey Kong originally started as a licensed Popeye game, but they couldn't get the rights, and then it became Donkey Kong. But what some people don't know is that Popeye actually did end up getting a Nintendo game, and it's really, really good. It kind of feels like an amalgam of every arcade game that Nintendo had developed up until that point. I don't often revisit this game, but it is a very fun, very well made, arcadey, score attack based game. I'm gonna put this right below Donkey Kong, I think. Pro wrestling. Listen, I like WWF, I like WWE, I enjoy wrestling. This game is not doing me. It's not doing it for me. I don't know if it's just I don't know how to play it. I don't know what the deal is. I just mash buttons and hope that something happens. Maybe I'm gonna get crucified for this. Maybe this game has a huge fan base. I don't know, but it's going in the D tier. Slalom. This game was developed by Rareware, and I think this was the first game under the title of Rareware. They used to go by Ultimate Play the Game when they were making games for the ZX Spectrum, and then they changed their name to Rare. Slalom is pretty notable for the dump truck ass that your guy has in this game. You're just getting a good view of his cake, his bakery. It's a fun little skiing game, and it's fun to laugh at the dude's dump truck ass. I don't often revisit this game either. Everything in the A and B tier, this is like all worth playing in my opinion. But Slalom, I don't know if it's quite worth playing. It's gonna go in the C tier. It's not bad. It's a decent skiing game, but compared to the stuff up here, nah. Soccer, or football, as most parts of the world call it. This is pretty good. It's a pretty good soccer game. I think my favorite soccer game is Mario Strikers for the GameCube. Admittedly, when it comes to sports, I'm not the biggest soccer guy. MLB, NBA, hell, even football, I'm a bigger fan of than soccer. But this is up there with golf. I would say it's worth playing. Probably not as good as golf on the NES, but a decent soccer game, and for its time, it's probably enjoyed by many fans of the sport. Super Mario Brothers. What is there to say about this game? The only platformers that predate it really are like Pac-Land, and I think Ghosts and Goblins predates Super Mario Brothers, the original arcade game. Super Mario Brothers has not aged a day. This game is still as good now as it was in 1985 when it launched in North America. One of the most indelible video games ever. Like, it's been ported to pretty much every Nintendo console in some form or fashion. One of my favorite games ever made. I love the original Mario trilogy to death, but there's something magical about the first Super Mario Brothers. Easy S tier, great game. Tennis. This is, I'm just gonna throw this right up here in B tier. Tennis is up there with golf. Do I like it more than golf and soccer? I definitely like NES tennis more than soccer, but do I like it more than golf? Probably not. I think I like NES golf a little bit more, but it's surprising how many of the sports games on NES are still worth playing. Like soccer, tennis, and golf. I revisit these games not super often. I'm not chomping at the bit to replay these games, but for NES sports games, they're still pretty good. Baseball, I would also probably move up a little bit, but we'll reorganize this list here in a second. Urban Champion. Urban Champion is kind of, I feel like it's an inside joke at Nintendo. Whenever they release a new console, whenever they re-release the NES library, Urban Champion is like one of the first games they bring over, and I don't understand why. It has to be like some kind of inside joke at Nintendo, because this game sucks. It's going in D, not quite F. I wouldn't put it down here with 10-yard fight and Donkey Goddamn Kong math, but Urban Champion is not good. Kung Fu is simple. Urban Champion is simple. Kung Fu is simple, but the difference is Kung Fu is still fun, and the simplicity works. This is still a damn good game. Urban Champion, I mean, it's funny. Like, it's a funny game in a weird way, but it's, don't bother. Don't bother. Volleyball? I'll put somewhere down here in C. I really don't have a ton to say about it. It's volleyball, and much like with golf, tennis, soccer, baseball, it's decent enough, but I'm sure there are like better volleyball games you can play nowadays. There was that Mario like sports game for the Wii that was a compilation of like dodgeball, basketball, and volleyball. You're probably better off playing that nowadays. Yeah, I gotta reorganize this because I definitely like baseball more than pinball, but we'll do that here in a second. Wrecking Crew. People who are not familiar with this game or maybe familiar with Foreman Spike, who appeared in the Illumination Mario movie. He is one of the characters in Wrecking Crew. This is a fun puzzle platformer. It's about, wrecking, demolition, destroying stuff, but you have to do it in a certain way to where you can maximize your points. And it's like one part platformer, one part puzzle game. And I quite like Wrecking Crew a lot, actually. I would put it probably right below Donkey Kong here. All right, we've got the basic outline here. Let me think about this real quick. Baseball definitely needs to go up. In fact, I'd probably like baseball more than volleyball. Do I like it more than slalom? No, I still think slalom's probably the best game here in the C tier. D tier and F tier I think are good. Don't need to rearrange those whatsoever. B tier, I'm looking at this and I'm going to move golf up by 1 because I definitely revisit golf more than Donkey Kong 3. I think the rest of the B tier is good though, looking at this. A and S tier. This is tough for me because I really love all of the games. These top 5 games here in the S and the A tier. I love these games. I kind of want to put DK Jr., Mario Brothers, and Balloon Fight in S. But then at that point, you have to ask, are these games as good as Super Mario Brothers? And I love these games here in A tier, but Super Mario Brothers is the king. I might, you know what, setting aside my bias for DK Jr. and the arcade Mario Brothers, I'm gonna put Balloon Fight in S. Balloon Fight is such a fun game, and if you have 2 players, it is so much fun. Definitely recommend Balloon Fight. And of course, Super Mario Brothers goes without saying. This game is an all-time Hall of Famer classic right here. Now I'm looking over this tier list here, and I think this is my final list. This is my list. It's my opinion. You are free to disagree. Let me know how you feel about this tier list in the comments. And I do a segment on my Twitch channel called the Donkey Kong Jr. Power Hour, where we stream various arcade and NES games. So if you want to see me actually play these games, come on over, stop by the Twitch stream and say hello. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this very rambly video right here. And thank you guys so much for watching, and have an excellent rest of your day.